stars were born to fly. Yeah, I've been searching, crawling, looking for a way out. I've been hurting, falling, but I think I found my way. Now I'm on my own, far from home, lost in space, in my zone. I found these truths, far from you, in my space, in a stellar mood. Yeah, I finally got my mind right again. Did it all in spite of the hate. Every time they said that I can't. Nebulous, they run through my veins. Every molecule in the strands. Senses feeling some kind of strange. Damn, I think my name's Spider-Man. Jump out the window and swing for the dreams that just might be. Never gonna let go. No, to the man in me, it look like me. Drifting through the cosmos, oh, far away from your lies. I realigned all my goals. That's a constellation of mine, yeah. I've been searching, crawling, looking for a way out. I've been hurting, falling, but I think I found my way. Now I'm on my own, far from home, lost in space, in my zone. I found these truths, far from you, in my space, in a stellar mood.
Kris the Critic Relationship Hour with Gina B. Why you are not married. Number one, you ain't all that. I know that's hard for y'all to swallow. I don't look as good as my 22-year-old self. People need to realize that. You just ain't all that. And I get it. I got this master's degree. I went to this school, that school. I worked hard for this job, for this house. And then she over there got that man. And you don't have one. Men are very simple creatures. So, ladies, for you very accomplished ladies, I got some advice for them.
What's that?
I always say it like this. You can write this one down. Be a kitten, not a cat. What does that mean, Kris?
What does that mean?
You ever played with a kitten? It's real friendly. It almost acts like a puppy. And you want to play with it. You want to come look at the little kitty. It just makes you feel good. Now, have you ever seen an adult cat? When it feels like it, it might rub against your leg and move away. But is that men like kittens?
Kittens will play with anybody. A cat is particular.
Listen, what did we learn? Men are very simple creatures.
Right.
You can fool us. We want you to laugh at our dumb jokes. So all you super smart women out there, you good-looking women, you see a guy you like, you guys do make out on a date, he actually pays for the date. When you're actually with that person, the dialogue is happening, the dinner is happening, you say, okay, this might work, this might work. It would help if you act a little blind.
Oh my God, Becky.
I mean, you're going to hear me say that a lot. I mean, be nice to
So
him.
you, okay.
You hear the worst joke ever. But if you sort of like them, laugh at it. There you go. Hey, it's a lot of married women out there. If we got any married women chiming in.
Look,
if I'm telling a lie,
that one's a fake laugh.
Let me know. Right.
What you're saying is that we should cater to the male ego, and that's what's ultimately going to get us married.
I'm first saying recognize that I think some of us, more women than men, look in the mirror. You ever seen a little lion look in the mirror and see somebody real big? They see somebody a little more fine than what they are. And I'm not calling anybody ugly, so I'm not here to bash anybody.
Let's look at Middle America, okay? Middle America is not attractive.
They're not?
Middle America is largely married.
Okay, I think we're on the same page then. People sort of, we get stuck to reality shows sometime and think we're supposed to have, I got a degree in a house, so I'm supposed to have Idris Elba or his twin.
Well, I mean, if you notice, okay, so you remember your friends from high school, right? And you remember how they had all of these qualifications for, if she's going to lock me down, she got to be this, that. She's got to have an ass like bam.
That's all we really looked at. Stop right there. That's really what are men? Simple creatures. We want to be fed. We want you to laugh at us, give us some, and that's it.
Oh, baby. I mean, I know that you're here with me and everything, but Since you just left a few hours ago, I've just been going crazy. And I done come to realize one thing.
Oh, baby. What's happening, people? Welcome to the Kris and Gina Relationship Show.
What up, what up, what up?
This beautiful woman, this intelligent woman to my left, your right, is one of the 6 brown chicks, one of the Kris and Gina super co-hosts, Gina B.
Hello. I don't have any volume in my ear though. Hi Kris, how are you?
I am wonderful.
Awesome.
Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday.
I still think
You think it's Wednesday still, don't you?
I still think it's Wednesday.
It is not. It is not hump day. It is the precursor to hump day is where we are now.
Hump day. So before we start, today's show is about trust in relationships.
Sure is.
Whether you agree with me or not, whether I come off as being crazy or not, I am pro relationships. So
He is.
I speak to those things, especially in our community. We do have a special guest coming in. We won't bring him in just yet, but we got a special guest coming in that's going to lend us some expertise to trust issues.
He has special qualifications. He has a particular set of skills.
He has a particular set of skills. Before we do that, Gina B, I want to let you know that today, it's only one thing I'm going to mention. I don't even have to look it up. It's National Rock, Paper, Scissors Day.
National Rochambeau Day.
That's what it is.
Okay. Oh, so what does that mean?
I don't know.
Look, there's got to be another day.
Well, it is a day. It's about 5 days before my oldest child gets married.
Well,
so there will be a wedding in the Team Levy household.
There will be a wedding. I love a good wedding.
There will be a wedding.
It's not mine.
I'll finally get a son. 3 daughters. I'll finally get a son.
There we go.
It's National Just Because Day.
I love you just.
And it is super hot day.
It's hot as hail.
Almost died twice outside.
Died?
I did.
How was that?
Hot. Reese, were you out there in this heat today, brother?
Man, listen, I tried to auto start my car first, so I go straight to the AC because I'm telling you, it's too hot, man. It's too hot.
Hilarious. Let's
you know how hot it is? I put ice cubes in the outdoor cats' bowls.
Gina B not only has cats, I think she takes care of random cats.
I do take care of random. I have 2 that live on the porch.
Yeah, okay.
I have they're both named Fluffy because Lee couldn't tell the difference between
I'm not
the two
about
of
that.
them.
I'm not about that.
I mean, I like creatures.
I got you.
I like little critters. But you know what tomorrow is?
What's that?
What is tomorrow, Kris?
Tomorrow, everyone,
come on
is
now.
Gina B's birthday.
My birthday.
There is a party at a secret location because I'm only not giving the address out because she owns the restaurant where it's at, and that wouldn't be right.
I gotta get my invite.
You got to invite her.
That's right.
So,
It's a party. It's a party. It's a party.
Before we start, I would like to bring in our guest. I'd like to let him get warmed up at home. So please, let's bring in not a stranger to the show, licensed clinical social worker and therapist, my good brother, Reese, you'll like this, part of your 06 family.
Hey,
Mr. Khalid Scott, can we bring him in? Do we have him around?
Where's Khalid? He there.
He there somewhere. Come on, he there. There he is. How you doing?
Khalid.
I'm doing good. There's a little delay going on too.
We do have a little bit of delay, but we'll make it work. We'll make it work. So, obviously, we brought you on. We're going to talk about, trust issues. We've done some shows on infidelity recently. We've done some shows on cheating. And we're just going to talk about trust because obviously, I don't think in the world, men and women have been more upwardly mobile, have their own money, make their own decisions. And sometimes if they don't like a situation, hey, they move around. So that's what it is. But we do want to show a short video, Khalid. We wanted you to see it. And then we can delve into this. For anybody watching the show, anybody watching later, I know a lot of you watching on tape delay, peep the video. It's a pretty good video. And it'll sort of set the stage for us. So, Reese, can we run that real quick, brother?
Roll it.
4 reasons why you have trust issues. Number 1, betrayal in relationship. Infidelity is incredibly hurtful and leads to trust issues in future relationships. Number 2, parental conflicts. If you have witnessed trust problems within your family, you may fear that the same thing will happen to you in your romantic relationships. Number 3, negative life experiences. If you have experienced trauma, especially while growing up, you have a higher tendency to develop trust issues. And number 4, complex trauma. You didn't get enough love and acceptance as a child, and now you have low self-esteem and don't feel that you deserve love.
That was, yeah.
That was
That covers it, huh?
that sort of hit.
Well,
That sort of, a couple of those kind of hit me in the stomach. I'm like, that's all of us.
well, here's the thing. I think that we need to just understand that trust isn't just about fidelity.
True.
I mean, there's a lot of other ways to betray someone's trust in a relationship. There's monetary. I mean, there's all kinds of ways. But we can let the expert weigh in on what he thinks about this.
Yeah. Where do we want to start?
Where do we want to start? Do you want to start with betrayal in relationships, Clid? What do you think about this?
Hey, anything you throw at me, let's go with it.
Well, I just want. Well, I set up the video. You know, over here, I was thinking we got questions to ask, but since she mentioned them. Do you think, I just want you to speak to your expertise. As I told you before, this is one area, you know, normally I'm coming on here with facts, figures. I have a few questions and no notes. So we will just be asking questions, talking about the effects of trust in relationships. So you can just kick us off and you can freestyle and we'll jump in and ask a couple of questions.
Okay. Well, let me give a few facts or get rid of some stereotypes. So when we think about relationships, some of us may think that women are very invested in relationships, right?
Right.
Well, I'm here to tell you, in my private practice, I have about 15 male clients. Mm-hmm. All 15 male clients came into therapy initially for relationship issues.
Right, right.
So men are challenged with relationship issues. Men want to have better relationships in their romantic partners, as well as in their families and their friends and in their total community, right? And I'm getting to a great point with the male clients about accountability.
Yep.
Because before they didn't take accountability. Why? You know, Kris and Gina, because they weren't held accountable.
Absolutely.
They got away with the misdeeds because their spouses was like, it's better to have some part of a man than no man at all.
Right.
And when you tell a kid to go into a candy store versus a vegetable store, which store is the kid going to go into?
Candy all day.
Right, absolutely. So if you tell men, right, and you know us men, a lot of us don't want to put the extra work in. We believe in being in our comfort zone. Right. So if you tell us we can be comfortable and we can get away with treating you in such a fashion, then more than likely we will. Plus, we cheer on men who are toxic. We cheer on men who are dysfunctional.
Yep.
Right. But something about that pandemic has turned the page with a lot of us, especially us men, because we got to sit down and be still and be quiet and like, wow, I've done some foul things to the person I love. And what have I passed on to my children? What was passed on to me through my granddad and uncles and dad and the men in my village? Right. So now we want to do something better. We don't want to keep betraying the people we love, and we don't want to keep betraying us.
Great point. I want to just jump in. Gina B, that was for me. That was sort of refreshing to hear, to see what other men are going through.
Yeah. We have to understand each other in order for this to work.
Right, right. So, Khalid, it's funny you mentioned that. I recently had a group of guys over the house, and it almost turned into, I mean, you'd think we'd be talking about sports, but it was, a couple divorcees, couple maybe divorced, couple married guys, one wanted to get married. And it was a relationship talk with very similar things you heard. And the funniest thing is, my mother was there when one of the guys was there, and this dude was pouring his soul out because, my mom was married 50 plus years before my day. He's like, I cheated a while back. We got through it, and, I helped her out. And all of a sudden, maybe her career is different. He's going through some things trying to salvage. It's just, the general consensus is that, men are just these horrible creatures. But there are a lot of men out here who actually are becoming aware. And as I always say, and my father used to say, don't BS yourself, because once you do become accountable, it is easier for you to address the problem once you can see it. So I think, to Khalid's point, in my childhood, I thought the toxic behavior amongst men was even greater than it is now. Because I think back when I was in a barbershop as a kid, everybody sort of telling you to be a player, to be a woman. To me, that was, as I think back, probably more trauma than as an adult. I can sort of sift through what's BS and what's not.
Yeah. Well, not to get too far afield.
Oh, sorry. You're running the show. We're just answering questions.
We've gone to a little far afield. All right, so let's start with some foundational questions, right? So when people talk about trust, they often talk about it's blind trust. Like what? I have a very different definition of trust. I think I shared this with you, Kris, before.
What's that?
My definition of trust.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't. Trust to me is interesting because just take all the fluff away from it. I trust people to do about what I think they're going to do in any given situation, right? So I put people in places where I can trust them to do what I think they're going to do. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So, for example, let's just take it all the way down. I have 2 cats, right? Do I trust my cat? I love my cats, whatever. If I leave out a piece of fish, do I think that my cat's going to go up and eat the fish, right?
Oh.
I trust my cat to do about what I think he's going to do
at
any given time.
I got you.
So it's not like, do I trust him? Do I trust anybody with the world? No, because everyone's not great at that. You know what I mean?
Right.
There's certain people like, I can't be trusted around your chocolate. You know what I mean? Like, you can trust me around anything, but just don't leave you know what I mean? Like, I might eat that shit. So it's like, so you have to figure out what's your definition of that?
Yeah.
Let's let the expert weigh in on that.
Go ahead.
Well, you know what, Gina? It sounds like you know how to manage your expectations in people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And it sounds like that you have the mindset that when people show you who they are, believe them.
Exactly.
The first time, right? And when you are able to manage your expectation in people, then the likelihood of you being disappointed is at the minimum.
Right.
But with human beings, there's always an ebb and flow, and there's spontaneity, and somebody might surprise you. So the person you might trust the most will be the one that will do a 180 on you, and you'll be like, whoa, I didn't see that coming. Why?
Exactly. Yeah.
They're close to your heart.
Right.
You think you know them. But as we're seeing, people are evolving now, right?
Yes.
You couldn't have told me 2 years ago that I would have known 20 people going through divorces.
I know, right?
20 of my friends
20?
in that age range of 50 to mid 60s are going through divorces. Because I thought they had the solid Heathcliff and Claire Huxtable marriage.
I'm about to say, yeah.
Right.
Let's
clear that up real quick.
Let's clear that up because we all know that was a shit show. So let me ask you a question. So I've noticed this is a phenomenon too among this specific age range, and we've seen a lot of cases in the news lately, like Judge Mathis, whatever. So tell me, in your professional opinion, to what do you attribute that surge of? Is it empty nest syndrome? Is it like I'm just fed up and maybe I'll die alone? I mean, what is the thought behind all of these divorces that we're seeing in a specific age group?
Right. So it's all the above.
Okay.
Everything that you can possibly think of to throw in the stew pot, it is. I've had like 4 of those friends, their youngest child or only child turned 18 and went away to college.
Oh, yeah.
So in their head,
they plan that.
I'm an empty nest now. I should have left my spouse 10 years ago, but I wanted to be Claire Huxtable. I wanted to be Heathcliff Huxtable and stick around and let my kids grow up in a 2-parent home. But now that that child is no longer going to be a buffer in the house, I'm out of here. Right?
Yep.
So,
and do you find that sad or admirable?
You know what? It's what works for you.
Okay.
It's what works for you, because we all could, assimilate to the status quo, but nobody is in charge of your happiness but you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I remember, Kris, you wrote an article or you did a post about marriage.
Yeah, I'm looking for it now, and it's interesting you mentioned it. But go ahead and finish. I'll let you finish the thought. I'll pull it up. Right. Because I figured you'd have a different viewpoint on that.
Well, I did at first.
Right.
But then I said, man, how wonderful that is to hear a man be very proactive about being great in your marriage, fighting for your marriage, because we don't often hear that a lot, right?
Right.
The only thing that I caution people to know, because I would know this more than you got people in domestic violence situations.
Sure.
You got people who are being abused. So if they heard what you said, then what happens is, if I'm already struggling, and man, this guy named Kris, this good-looking guy who, man, appears to have the best life in the world, told me I ain't crap because I'm getting a divorce.
Right.
And some people are not strong enough to differentiate. So sometimes it's all the time, if you are not happy, you're being abused, if your spirit is being taken away from you in a relationship, then you have to come up with an exit strategy.
Right.
So, and Kris, I think people can learn from you, because this is your second marriage, right?
No, this is my first. And the over-under on me was 2 years. And marriage is difficult. Make no mistake.
Gotcha.
You sort of woman, I tease my wife and Gina, I say, you sort of woman-splained it, but I'll Kris-splain it. because and the reason I say that is, I'm going to read the post, and what I do is, I never tell people in any post what they should do. What I do tell you is, you have here are the percentages of, if you do this happens X amount of times. And they don't like that. I will be the first to tell people, I had a child out of wedlock, but don't do it. And that girl went to UFC. She's a lawyer, getting married Sunday. But you know what? It was very difficult. And the odds say that a 20-year-old woman having a child with a guy she's not married to are not good. I'm not judging you. I'm telling you what the odds are, so you can make a more intelligent decision. So woman-splaining it would say, you're blaming single moms. No, that's not what I said. So I will say, since we so liberally use mansplaining, I have no problem saying woman-splaining. So my post said the following, and I'm getting old, so I'll put on these. And so listen to the words. I said, marriage is a duty. Number 1, vows were not written for better or worse for show. Life is hard alone, and marriage is hard. Some look to marriage for happiness. Happiness has nothing to do with being single or married. Marriage isn't about your happiness. It's not even about you. Marriage is about sacrifice, serving, giving, and forgiving, and doing that over and over again. So what people today, in terms of this little subject, they're getting married thinking that equates to their happiness. And they're saying, I'm not happy, it must be the marriage. What people don't do in 2024 is look in the mirror and say, what part do I play? Is my wife just not messing around with me? Well, what did you do? Or my husband just not. Men typically, and I'm generalizing, men typically get married for what they say. This is what it is. This is what I do for a living. I'm a teacher, this and the other. Women get married for the expectation. This is where it's supposed to be. And if it doesn't necessarily match it, they become unhappy. So I'm not saying one is right. I'm not saying one is wrong. But I do know 70% of these marriages are filed by women. We raised by the same people.
Well, I think there are reasons for that, but go ahead.
I would love to. Here's the reasons. A small percent of marriages, less than 5%, are abuse addiction. Most of these marriages are irreconcilable differences, money, arguing, family. I got the Forbes list,
okay,
and it's fixable things. So when we look at the outcomes of children out here with unbalanced parenting, I got plenty of friends with single moms that are killing the game.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better when both are around. Yeah. And people don't like to hear the truth. 85% of those prisons are single mother homes. Does that mean a single mother can't raise a child? No. It just means 85% of the children in prison are men in prison from single mother homes. And a man's worth in 2024 has been devalued to his net worth. His role, his discipline, his structure has been overlooked. I sit and stand and speak as I do because of the problems I went through, not the problems that I haven't had. So that's where I'm coming from.
All right.
Yeah. Got it.
Well,
got it.
Gotcha. I just
should have been a preacher.
Okay. Anyway, I'm just gonna leave that alone. So, anyway, okay. Sorry, that was funny.
You okay, Gina?
but see what I'm saying? But it comes off when you see the comments.
So many thoughts.
People will read. People say, "Well, you hate women. You hate." I'm like, I live in a house with all women, and if I don't tell them the truth. You want me to blow smoke up your ass?
No, but you know what? I think that a lot of the reason why so many women file for divorce is because
they think they can do better.
No, that's not it. I have
and they can't.
I have a lot of
most of them.
I have a lot of female friends who have filed for divorce.
Right.
Okay? A lot of them. And in some cases, I'm not going to say in every case. I'm not going to say in the majority of cases. But what I will say is that a lot of them were in marriages where they felt the men did not take initiative.
I believe they really feel their feelings. I no doubt.
Listen,
whether it's reality or not is the difference.
I'm just telling you. So a man who doesn't take initiative in the relationship, in the marriage, isn't going to take the initiative to file for divorce either. Even if the marriage is some bullshit.
Why do men always have to be positioned like that? Why can't it be?
Not always.
Because men fix shit. And we're logical and we're reasonable and that's what we do.
I'm just saying
because I
know the reasons.
I can tell you this. Ask a woman. Your husband, if a married man and a wife lost her job, most men would be there indefinitely for her.
Right, but is he
participating
in that relationship?
If it happens in reverse, that woman will do it for a while, but she's thinking a different way. Women, I'm telling you.
Just staying married does not mean you're participating in the relationship.
You don't get what? Why does that have to be that?
What do you mean?
What do you mean he's just staying there?
He's just in the marriage, like he's just going through I mean, it doesn't mean he's participating.
Well, what is she doing? What is she communicating to him?
I don't know the answer to that. All I'm saying is that
it's got to be him, though, right?
Who are not. Listen, what I've told you at the beginning of this conversation,
it's got to be him, though,
is that I know women who have filed for divorce, and this is what they've shared with me. I'm not saying that I started also the conversation by saying I'm not saying it's the majority. I'm not saying that it's even like I'm not one who enjoys blaming men for things.
It's not a blame. It's an observation.
No, but I mean,
I've observed women
men and women against each other.
I don't. But again, your friend said one thing. I have
several friends who have said the same thing.
Well, here's what I've observed. I've observed women saying, that's the father of the child. There are 300,000 tests every year. Let me finish. I didn't cut you off.
Did I say anything?
32% of those tests come back not the father. Women also willfully lie on their own without the help of a man. Women also exhibit behavior just like a man can.
Here we are.
But no, again, it's easy to talk about those men were not doing something at home. But as soon as a man says something that a woman might do, oh, here he is. I don't fall victim to the group women, let's shame this person. Okay. I don't care.
Okay. I do feel that there is a percentage of relationships fall apart because of what you've just said. But I do also feel that two things can be true at the same time.
Well, here's what's true. They quit.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, they do.
Okay. Other things that we're just now, I'm trying to get away from the word salad. What do you have any thoughts?
Well, let me really bring this home, because what happens is we get so used to the blame game, right?
Right.
Which I don't
And when I'm sitting in with my couples, with my married couples, and talking about what's plaguing the relationship, to be very honest, it's on both. And typically
it has to be.
And it's really a 50-50.
There you go.
So let me give you an example. So you get a couple come in and the husband has cheated on a wife, right? And so what happens is it's easy to say, well, it's his fault.
And then you find out she hasn't slept with him in a year.
There you go, Chris. There you go. There you go. But see, it's not seen as that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I have to help the wife know you're just as much as the villain in this movie as he is.
Do they walk out on you?
No, they don't.
Good.
Because they were like, whoa, I never thought about it like that. Right? And so the thing is, I tell both parties, there's no victims and there's no villains in this room today.
There you go.
It's some people who need to fix what got broken.
Right.
And
Because
how are you amening this? You're always the first person that's going to jump down a woman's throat.
I don't know. I show them
that. You're like, won't he
no.
It's like that's not
I don't let women shit on men. So here's what happens, Khalid. You'll hear women say, show of hands. Anyone ever heard black women say black men are broke? Show of hands. Show of hands, Gina B.
I've never said black men are broke.
Have you ever heard black women say that?
I mean,
yes.
Not as a whole.
No, have you ever heard?
I've heard women say that there are some black men that are broke.
But hold on, let me finish.
I don't want to be bothered
but black
with
men, by and large, don't say black women are broke.
I've never heard a woman say that.
But wait a minute.
Across the board.
So here's what happens, Khalid. Someone will say it, and I'll say, wait a minute, because I know better.
I'm sorry, I'm confused.
I'll show the incomes of black men and black women. I won't say anything. And a woman will jump out because in her mind, she wanted it to be true. And she will demonize me. Hold on. She'll demonize me for showing her the truth. Guess what? Black men average more money than black women. High earning women, 25 to 40, those age ranges, there are 10,000 more black men in the country making that money. The problem is they're just not choosing you. And see, you tell someone the truth, and see, a woman would say, we can say independent woman, black woman magic. I can't be proud to be a black man. I can't defend my manhood.
Of course you can.
Goddamn right. Because I take care of the women.
No one's telling you not to.
Well, you're saying I'm bashing people when
you kind of are.
No.
Okay.
If a woman says black men are broke, and I say, let's look at the salary. Women say that all the time.
Dude, I do not hear women say across the board black men are broke.
I didn't add across the board. You're woman-splaining. Repeat the words that I said. I said, have you ever heard
a woman say black men are broke?
Have you ever heard a black woman say black men are broke? Yes or no?
Okay, what that means to me
is
the
what it means to you.
Black men are broke.
You can't.
That's what you just said.
That's the problem.
That's what you just said.
No. Why do you have to restate what I said?
Because you
I
asked
asked
me
a
to.
clear yes or no question. Have you ever heard black women? Because you're lying. And you got a problem being accountable for other black women.
I do not.
That's all it is. You lying.
No,
you lying.
This is not okay, he's raising his hand. What would you like to say, Khalid?
You're lying. I don't care. I'm not a therapist.
Liar.
You flat out lying.
I am not lying.
You've heard black women say that.
Okay.
So let me give you a perfect example. So you two are like when my couples first come in. See the banter? Now, you two are doing it because you are very comfortable with each other. You want to get your point across.
And I know my shit.
Okay.
Okay. So but what happens is, guess what? Both of you are correct. Both of you are correct. But it's a way.
What was she correct about? She wasn't correct answering that question. Don't placate her. Don't dummy up.
I don't think he's here to placate me.
Yeah, he is.
No, he's not.
He's got to do that. He's a therapist.
I have not paid him. He does not have to do that.
She lied. She has heard black women say that.
I did not lie.
Oh.
I don't.
Well, okay, so hear me out, guys. So the other day I was in a podcast and they brought up the thing about when black women say we don't need a man, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I had to explain to the women on the panel was when men hear from a black woman who looks like their mother, their grandmother, their auntie, their sister, what happens is we take it in as I'm not needed. I'm not necessary.
Right.
So I told, and so the women were like, no, we don't mean it like that. We mean it that we can make our own money. We can buy our own house. We can buy our own car. Right.
But that ain't what they said.
But the translation gets lost. And then I also gave an example. Go on YouTube and find videos of Jewish women, Hispanic women, Asian women, whatever race of women, and find me 5 videos of women in those races saying, I don't need a man.
You won't.
You will not find that video, right? But you all got to remember this. We were purposely right?
Oh, absolutely.
We were purposely divided. Go back in slavery.
Yep.
And we've been keeping the tradition going for centuries. Now we don't have it as a luxury. 20 people divorcing in their 50s is not a good statistic.
And 70% of them are women.
No,
because they don't because they don't understand when you get married, they tell you this is a duty. Happiness is not mentioned in any vows. Happiness is not mentioned. So I always ask people, well, you took the vows for better or for worse, or you only meant a bad thing. You didn't mean for worse. Because life is going to be hard whether you're single or alone.
Okay, so Colette, let me ask you a question. Now, when you're on the other podcasts and you hear women say, I don't need a man, okay, how much of that do you think comes from a place of, I mean, I know what you're saying, of pain, from a place of, I haven't found a man, no men are interested in me, it doesn't look really good for me from the future standpoint. So let me figure out how I can craft my life around not needing one, because it'd be like me saying, I don't need chocolate. I'm just going to go back to chocolate, even though I'm not that addicted to chocolate, I promise you. But I am. But I'm going to say, I don't need, because
I need chocolate.
Chocolate is not necessarily great for my health goals.
But I need
it. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can have a life without it and still be okay. Right. So maybe I might say something like, I don't need chocolate, even though I would really prefer a life with chocolate and to be able to have my health goals. And maybe some of the women that are saying, I don't need a man, aren't really bashing men as much as they are looking at the possibilities for them to actually find the man they want and developing a defense mechanism.
That's a good question.
Absolutely. And the foundation is 100%. It comes from a place of hurt, and it comes from a place of being guarded.
Right.
Yep.
So if I tell my mind, which makes the rest of my body follow, if I tell that I don't need somebody, when I don't have somebody, then I'm good. I brace myself for the disappointment. Right.
And Khalid, as a person on a relationship show, when I hear that, I like to let women know, number one, that whole history of background baggage, everyone has that. But no one, see, men, we get knocked down early in life. No one gives a girl, he broke, he ain't got no money. That man know he ain't got no money. But nobody says, why is he broke? Maybe I should look at, no, he has to accept that. So I'm saying the world is not necessarily a fair place. If you want a man, I tell my daughters, just like women, most women are hypergamous by nature. I ask them, you want a husband? They say, yeah. You want to be taller? They say, yeah. Say, you want to have more money? They say, yeah. I said, that's fine. I said, let me tell you what he wants. He doesn't have a height requirement, that guy. He doesn't have a money requirement, that guy. Here's what he likes. He wants to be respected and needed. See, if you know that, and if you want a man, that man, you wouldn't say, I don't need a man. So when I tell women that, they get upset. It's like medicine. You may not like it, but it's good for you. If you don't know that what you want, what they need, see, everybody spends time making their own little list, but they ain't on nobody else's list.
Right, but see, when you go hard at someone like that,
women go harder than anybody.
Okay, I'm not really Chris. I'm not interested in the back and forth of men and women.
I'm saying
when you go
I don't go hard.
When you go hard, that's either men or women. Okay,
I lie. I do go hard.
Let's just say
I do
that
go
we're
hard.
talking about both sexes.
Hold on, I do go hard.
Okay,
when somebody calls me a name because I'm petty,
that's fine,
I'm working
Chris.
on that.
Okay, you can be quiet now. When you go hard at someone like that, all you're doing is sticking your finger in the bruise. You're poking a bruise. What you're doing is you're saying,
no.
Yeah, you are.
No.
Why aren't you? You're poking a bruise and you're saying, well,
if someone
the reason
says,
why you don't need a man is because you're not really a good partner.
No.
You fucked up your life to the point where...
I've heard women say this. You know what? I can't get a man. All these men are gay. All these men are cheats.
Yeah, they're telling
all these men. Hold on.
Themselves.
So wait a minute. They can say all that toxic shit, but when I show, so me just showing you that they're men, I'm the devil. Fuck that. The fuck you think I am? I'm not a bitch.
At some point,
the fuck. Sometimes you gotta tell a motherfucker they wrong.
But you don't have to react.
And what we do as a society, we overcorrect with our men. Have been the same simple dumb creatures since the fucking beginning of time. But now what happens is this: I want a six-figure, high-earning man that looks like Khalid Scott with a nice beard. Well, guess what? He makes $200,000. He has his choice. You don't look his part. All right? Hold, let me finish. Or, guess what? Those men usually gravitate towards women who are nice and speak nice. Don't be mad at me for giving you the answer.
Okay, why do you need to give them an answer?
Because they saying there's none here.
But here's the deal.
Because if you're calling all men who look like me gay, all men who look like me broke.
Do you care?
Because if I said one iota about black women stupid. Why do you have to say something back to me?
But I don't care. I know I'm not stupid. I don't give a shit.
We tell women to embrace their curves instead of lose weight. We tell them the government got money instead of no. This part of the problem.
So let's
we overcorrect on every instance. So it's a miracle. No wonder everybody think they right.
I saw a picture today. Maybe you guys saw it. Maybe everybody who's listening to this saw it. I saw a picture today of the comparison between Lizzo a few years ago and Lizzo recently. Lizzo's recently lost a lot of weight.
She's less fat.
She's on a mission. She's on a trajectory. Now, this is the very woman who would be in the press about how she's proud to be a big girl. Yet she's on a weight loss mission and everybody's complimenting her on it. So don't you think that there was a little, like when everybody was like, that was a defense mechanism. So let her sit in
But had fatter Lizzo said black men are broke, I'd have checked her ass. Because that's what men do. I got testosterone in me. I do not sit back and let bad behavior go. That's part of the problem.
But that's costing yourself a lot of anguish.
When you reward bad behavior, we tell 16-year-old man, Khalid, he know what he did. He got the girl pregnant. Take care of him. That's your responsibility. We put nothing on women. Oh, she was young. A woman can say, I want a leader. I want a tall man. I want a man with money. I want a man who does this, that, and the other. Let a man say, I want a fit woman. Oh, he's shallow. Here come everybody. Fuck that. Real men let you know you got a choice. I got a choice. I tell my children the same thing. Cheese is the enemy. If the world ain't right, but if you want that man, that high value man, guess what? Before he gets to know your insides, he looks at what you look like. And the best time to meet him, you meet the CEO in college before he becomes one. Because I love them, so I tell them the truth. But you want me to placate these bad behaving, loud, obnoxious, mean women who I stand up for myself, but I never throw a blow.
I ultimately don't give a shit. Khalid, what do you think about all this?
Okay, so this is what I call reconditioning in therapy, right? So, Kris, I'm sitting in front of 15 men who say the same thing you say, right?
Right.
And so now I'm reconditioning to say, guess what? That's the truth. But with women, we know it's about how they receive.
Right.
If I'm talking to you, I want you to receive my powerful and prolific message. So we could say the same thing. And let me show you real quick. Kris, turn to Gina real quick. Turn towards her.
Don't be snarling at me, Nick. Okay.
What?
And say, look, Gina, you are breathtakingly beautiful.
See, you are breathtakingly beautiful.
Come on, Kris, play the game right.
Gina knows I'm not mad at her. Me and her go at this like this.
I know, but just go with the test,
Gina,
please, Kris.
Gina, you are breathtakingly beautiful.
Thank you.
She saw. I didn't mean to give you the Chris Levy look. I didn't want her to fall. Yeah.
Right. So Gina, for Gina, 1 second, it felt good. It felt validating, didn't it? Even though you know that's your brother,
right?
Just to hear a black man say that you're beautiful.
Yeah.
And then Gina turned to Kris.
Yes.
Kris, you are an outstanding brother, and your children will benefit with the presence of you in their life.
Kris, you're an outstanding brother, and your children will benefit with the presence of from the presence of you in their life. And I believe that.
I ain't gonna lie, it did feel good. All of this. Me and my wife coming to you anyway for some. I'm bringing my wife to you so we can do that. Right. Hey, that kind of work, bro. That's some old.
But I can argue with him and still feel that way about him.
Exactly.
Right?
Absolutely. But the thing is, because we've been so divided, this is what we got to start practicing more of. Because men are being infuriated by the non-compliments from sisters, and then vice versa. And us as men who are head of the household leaders, we have to remember our black women are coming from a pain place. And when you're coming from a pain place, you're going to react because that's all you can do, because any other thing, you're defenseless. They can't come and punch us and beat us up. So let me hurt you with my words, because I found out as a woman that really gets to you, a man, when I hurt you with your words. And because you've hurt me over and over with your words and your fists, well, that's my retribution towards you. But now we have to say, sweetheart, no more will I hurt you with my hands or my words. My man in my life, I will not hurt you with my actions or my words. And that's where we build trust. Going back to the subject matter at hand, that's how we build trust back in each other, by changing the behaviors that we're so used to seeing in one another.
Oh, I agree 100%. But I also, man or woman or beast, you protect your home first. So if someone's outside of those women under my protection and they're talking garbage that's detrimental to that, I'm gonna let them know.
Yeah, but say it to them in
but I know I'm gonna give it to them like they give it to me.
Well,
see, that's
what good women do, Chris.
That's what almost like, let's take two men. And men have different schools of thought. Just two young guys. One guy's bullying another guy. He decides to smack the other boy. Your advice to the other boy would be, you better stand up for yourself or he will keep bullying you. So I do not discriminate. If someone tries to bully me and you think you can smack me and stand under the protection of having a vagina, hell fucking no. You're gonna be checked just like a man would. I'm not gonna hit you because I don't need to, but I will let you know the truth. You can't do this to me. I protect, you can't say I hate women when I love my family. I'm going to let you know. And you know what? You can be mad over there, because what we do is you have a lot of people say, oh girl, I understand you. I got trauma. You should never, man, woman, or child, feed bad behavior. You should let them know that's bad behavior. I get it. Where's it coming from? Whose trauma is this? But at the end of the day, I didn't do it. You had no reason to say that. So you know what? If you want to deal with that on your own, fine. But I'm going to let you know the truth. I don't hate you. I don't hate women. But you'd have better results if you really want a man. Men like for you to act nice. You can get more from a man by saying, hey, baby, can you help me get something to eat? Versus, you better spend 50-50. Because one of them motherfuckers don't work for men.
But do you think that you're really helping women by telling them you're not going to ever get a man because you're fat?
If a broad was smart and looked at my motherfucking life, she would understand I live this shit. I am that good looking motherfucker who makes some money with a wife and kids and shit that you want to have. I know what I am. Right. I stand on my shit.
That almost makes it kind of worse in a weird way.
Hey, it's like, I'm going to tell you how to get it.
You're not going to.
Fine. Keep doing what you've been doing for the last 35 years, saying you right. That ain't work.
You're just, but here's the problem.
Hey.
I get your point. I see why you say the things you say, but the way that you say them,
I don't give a fuck, because they don't.
Going to be
does productive. A woman care when she tell a nigga he broke? She don't give a fuck.
I don't care what she.
I know, because we don't correct women. We don't correct them. You correct the man. We don't correct women's bad behavior.
I'm correcting you because you are a friend.
Men, if you have daughters, do not raise them like that. Listen, raise them to be accountable for their actions.
This is the reason why.
Raise them to be accountable for their actions.
Do you understand why I don't get involved in these arguments on Facebook? You always have to call me to tell me about these arguments on Facebook because I don't read them. You know why? Because there is all kinds of
well, the only ones who disagree are the angry, disgruntled, I ain't got no man chicks.
Here's the thing. You argue with people who it doesn't even matter.
I don't even argue. I put the stats up and they get mad at the stats.
Chris Levy.
Because I am smarter than most of them.
I've known you to argue with specific people.
I'm a smart man.
That little group. And I'm sitting here like, I don't know, that's like a masturbatory exercise as far as I'm concerned.
Well, at the end of the day, they can sit there all alone and then they hen circle and say, well, we was right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, who's right?
The motherfucker.
What is the barometer? That's why I don't care if anyone's. You could say anything to me if you want to. I know the truth.
We've done shows.
And my self-esteem is not tied to anyone's opinion.
We've done shows with married women on here, right?
Yes, we have.
And they've acknowledged they don't take part of that shit because they kind of agree. They just don't give a fuck. I think the more people we bring together, the less dudes out there trying to carjack me. That's what I think. I think the more people we bring together, the more success we have in our community. And right now, there is a direct correlation between races where families are together, their income, their outcomes, and the more they're apart, the worse that race is doing. And you can draw a line on it.
I'm not.
Asians are doing the best. They don't care about who's in office. But you know what? They got the highest marriage rate, and guess what? Highest education rate, and guess what? Highest income rate, and guess what? Because they understand their role to their children, and it's not just about me. We have men out here now. These dudes are stupid. All these athletes are stupid. You have this amount of men in the country and this amount of baby mamas. Yet, men can't see. We have a small faction of men having too many goddamn kids. And women can't see, goddamn, we got 59% of all black mothers with 2 or more kids got multiple baby daddies, but it's only 54% of niggas with kids. That shit is crazy.
All right, we are so far afield on this topic.
I'm just saying, you got to understand the problem to correct it.
We got to get back to trust, which is the point of the show.
Okay. Fine.
We have gotten so far afield, which we always do. You're used to this, right?
Right.
You're like, right. So here's my question for you. Can trust be regained?
Are we back to the show?
Yes.
We are.
Yes, it can be regained.
And how? What is your recommendation?
Let me make it real clear. It's a slow process.
Okay.
It's a slow process, especially in regards to the infraction that caused the mistrust.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
And trust comes along with consistency, right?
Right.
Trust comes along with advocacy. Trust comes along with the level of engagement and the level of enthusiasm, the level of, I want to make this work, right? Because if somebody does an infraction to you and you already on the cusp of that relationship, well, this is going to take you over. But if you love this person, you like, wait a minute, something happened. I take ownership of the part I played in the situation. They came to me, and we're going to see Khalid Scott for therapy, and this person is doing A, B, C, and 1 through 3 to really want to get my trust back. Then it makes it better. But if you do something wrong to me, and I'm struggling, and then you say, "Well, why can't you trust me?" God dang, it happened 6 months ago. I ain't done it again. Again, it's about presentation. It's about presentation. And Kris, I hear exactly what you're saying, and you're valid. It is great to be honest with people. But again, man, it's about presentation. Imagine your boss coming to you aggressively. Though he might be right about something you did wrong at work, you want him to be invested in you to say, "Kris, tell me what happened with that situation, because I know you tend to be this type of worker."
Right, right.
Great
point.
What's wrong with you?
But what if what in that same example, you went to your boss and said, "Hey, boss, you stupid. You get what you get."
One of my employees came to me and said,
"Well, that's what happens to me. I'll put something nice and gentle up, and ultimately, somebody, one of these simp-ass dudes or some chick will say, 'Man, you stupid. Can you read?'" So if you come to a boss like that, you get what you get. So there was a woman who asked me really nicely, what advice you have for women, and I listed 20 successful tips for sisters to find out. And all the same women cursing me out. "Oh, Kris, thank you, that and the other." A man responds to how you act. Women of old knew that if I'm standing on the corner with my homies and they rolling dice and a lady dressed nice coming through, they straighten up, they tell each other not to curse. Let somebody come in a hoochie outfit, fuck y'all doing. They're going to talk to her like she is.
Okay.
But again, Kris, how powerful would it be for that hoochie is so used to men downgrading her? How would it be for the brothers to say, "Hey, sister, how you doing? Here with my..."
I didn't say they downgraded. I say they treated her like she acted. Don't womansplain. I say they treated her like she acted.
Chris.
I'm very direct. I don't miss.
Chris, hold on, because I'm your guest, and you can't minimize what I say about men.
I didn't minimize it. Okay, I said don't womansplain it.
Let him talk.
You can't do that to me.
All right, you in. Go ahead. Let's get past that. I apologize.
Absolutely. And see how we just took care of that by just switching up.
Women have not apologized since 2004.
Okay, stop it. Khalid, can you please?
Okay. So the thing is if we're talking about how to rebuild trust, if we're talking about how do we have better relationships, it's come from the foundation of treat each other how I want to be treated. Show me respect, give respect. And even if you don't give me what I give you, I still win. I still win.
Exactly.
And you lose. And you lose. And so my thing is, let's role model the behaviors that we want in this world. And that tends to work out better. Look what happened with this election. We were feeling unmotivated. Then when Kamala came on board, the resurge came, right? We got happy because it's like, oh my God, we needed this boost. We needed somebody that's just going to make us feel like there's hope again. We don't have to settle for that other person and all the drama and trauma they caused us almost 4 years ago. So we got to believe in human beings. We got to believe in doing better gets better results.
Right.
And the more we practice that, good people, the better we'll trust one another. I'm telling you. So I see it as a social worker.
So when you in your sessions, that's a great, you made me think of a great question. Let's say you have a couple who are at an impasse, and how do you, and they both say they have trust issues, what do you tell them, or what can they practice to reestablish trust?
Okay, so what I do is I do the AA protocol. So when you go to an AA meeting, you have to stand up and you have to say, "Hi, my name is Khalid and I'm an alcoholic." The reason why you have to say that every time is because you take immediate accountability. So what I do is I have my couples face each other and say, I did do this infraction. I did do this infraction, because it tells a person, oh, I ain't got to convince you. You're not lying about it no more. You are finally taking ownership. That makes me feel like that's half the battle fixed.
Yeah.
And then we go into I'm sorry for what I did, but let me explain why I did it. Right? So again, it's always about accountability, and it's about your presentation. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. Kris, when me and you, when we first laid eyes on each other in Walgreens, it was a joyful interaction, right? We hugged each other. We took a selfie, right? You know what I'm saying?
It was. Wait a minute. Because you look just like you do in person. His beard is all perfect.
He does. He crops that beard.
That was the first thing I thought, because I tried to grow a beard for a minute. I was like, that's a real ass beard. I had to take a picture.
Right. But see, the more we do this positive dance with one another, right, then the more that we get better results. And we got to learn to trust each other. You named off other races, right? They have a history of coming together, cooperating with one another. We are the only race that goes against each other.
Right. And you know what? You said something earlier, and I do this occasionally. I've had men and women, whether they're on the show, on social media, Brother Jamal, who's a member of the Alpha family.
Yep.
I've called him after a show to apologize. I've called several of those women to give them my number, to tell them what I think. Now, and I let them know.
After eviscerating them.
Well, I tell them, I can be petty. I can be petty, right? But you got to acknowledge your weakness. But they thanked me for that. Now, half of them are like, okay, I get it. Now I see some likes on some of these posts because they get it. Right, he's really driven on trying to keep people together. Now, because I think outside of somebody beating your ass or somebody doped up, if you were good enough to be with them, y'all good enough to work on it. But everybody now is men and women. I'm right, they wrong, let's go. Everybody. So, and maybe to your point, Gina, some men do stay because maybe they hit more financially. I get it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Women know, most likely she gonna get the kids. Yeah, right. So I get it. So the laws don't help us. Right? Mm-hmm. You do away with all that, not that I wanted to, but if you did, you see people acting better. You wouldn't see all these athletes getting knocked up if they didn't have to pay these women all this money. They're just some dumb dudes. Mm-hmm. That I want to talk about that camp. Go ahead.
And guys, let me explain certain behaviors, right? So, Kris, you gave an example about Asian people, right?
Right.
But Kris, the counter of that, they have the highest numbers of suicide.
Well, they have the most people.
Right, but suicide comes from somewhere, right?
Right.
Because if I'm happy, I'm not going to jump off a building. I'm not going to swallow a gun.
Now, let me ask you this.
But hold on.
Okay,
but
go ahead.
what happens is they swallow their toxicity. They don't talk it out. So we don't want people to do that. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Want people to get it out.
I agree. But the question to Gina, did he just bash Asian people, or did he just tell me a fact about Asians?
He just told a fact about Asians.
All right, just for the record, he just told a fact about Asians. All right? So thank you for that, because I didn't know it. No, because there are times, if an Asian person were here, maybe they'd say, he's blaming, he's bashing, he don't know the back. He just gave a fact.
No, but there was no value judgment.
No, but it made sense. It was valid. It gave me it. I said, okay, he's right. Maybe he got a lot of pressure. But clearly, in that instance, he gave a fact. He wasn't bashing him.
Okay.
Just want to, for the record, just want to say that.
Okay, that's lovely.
So, but imagine if I said, Kris, you know what? You wrong for that. Stop doing that. Stop putting black people down. Asian people kill themselves.
Right. That's different. That's a different thing.
You went on the defense.
Well, it's different to say, they have the highest rate of suicide than it is to say, well, Asians just kill themselves.
I really don't, listen, black men commit higher crimes per capita. I don't get mad at that because I know that shit is true.
Right. But okay, so we're not here to support your points. My whole thing, and we've got a couple minutes left. What advice do you give couples who are trying to overcome trust issues, or people who want to kind of avoid trust problems?
That's a better question.
Proactively in relationships.
Right. So what I tell them is, I do a lot of role plays in my therapy sessions, right? Mm-hmm. So one of the things I tell them to do, I give them assignments. So one of the things I tell them is, I want you to go and buy a photo album. And I want you to go and collect all the pictures of when you first start dating one another that you took. And then I want you to pull out your wedding album. Mm-hmm. And then I want you to, as we're sitting in session, I want you to look at your wedding album and tell me how you felt 20 years ago during that time. For some reason, that nostalgia does so much good for them, because they remember before the kids came and before the bills came and all the problems and the infidelities. I love this person. I help them to remember why they are together in the first place. Go back to your foundation and rebuild from there. Rebuild from there.
Okay.
Go back to dating go back to dating one another again. Right? Go back liking each other.
He's got a great voice. I love it. I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I receive. It's the way you say stuff.
It's good points.
It's awesome points. I mean, make no mistake.
Yeah.
But
the delivery. It's the
delivery is good.
The delivery is good.
I'm learning right here.
I mean, that's good stuff. He's taking notes.
That's good stuff.
Are you taking notes? Or you're just checking social media?
I like it.
No, I know. We appreciate that, Khalid. Thank you for being on the show. And where can people find you? And
do all that.
Yeah. Let's talk about you.
So I'm on all social media platforms, Khalid Scott. You can find me at my private practice at www.highachiever.net. And then you can also find me on www.psychologytoday.com under my name, Khalid Scott.
Okay.
And wait a minute, one more thing. And because I celebrate black dads, why don't you tell them a little bit about the superstar that you are raising right now? Because I'd like to think I got a cover. You got a superstar. Tell them about the superstar you raising, and what's she doing.
Okay. Well, this is my baby. She just graduated from college. She's became a fellowship, Fulbright fellowship. She's going to Germany for her gap year to do research in neuroscience at the largest hospital in Europe, in Berlin. And then she'll come back next year. And her top 5 medical schools are from Harvard, University of Chicago, Northwestern, and all the rest.
Jesus.
So, absolutely.
That's awesome, brother. Blessings to you and her mom. I know y'all both are proud.
Yes.
Just tell her to keep rising, brother. Keep rising.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me, guys. I really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
And I might need a therapy session for myself. I'm working on my pettiness, but I'm for real.
He's not.
No, I am. I have, listen, when I started, Gina, when I started learning about my own bullshit, it helped me clear it up. But the unfortunate part,
we've been doing this for years, Kris.
I can see other people's shit too. But I'm still working on some shit. Thank you.
We're all a work in progress.
I am. I know I am. I tell my kids, I'm like, y'all know
we
I'm
don't at Giordano's in Hyde Park, okay?
We're going to do that.
I'm into it. I love Giordano's.
We're going to make that happen. We're going to make that happen. This is a man thing.
Okay, I can't come.
Well,
I'll just come and get a personal pan and leave.
We're going to come to your, well, I'll talk to him about your party later. But yeah, we'll talk.
Thank you, guys.
Hey,
Thank
Brother
you.
Colin, now wait. I know it's not our show, but it's like our sister brother network. You will be on the In the Zone show tomorrow. I love those folks.
Oh, Bri Foss.
What y'all talking about tomorrow?
Chantel, my girl.
We're talking about when is a good time to leave a relationship.
Oh man, so
I
look,
need to watch that.
anybody, I never do this, but anybody but Brian and Sean, they have a show called In the Zone. They get it cracking.
There are people.
There's our people. We've been on their show. They've been on here. Brother Colin's going to be on there. If you're on Facebook, it's on In the Zone. I think they got a YouTube, but I don't know it.
I don't know it either.
But anyway, look for that. It's In the Zone. It'll be a good show.
Yeah, it's
tomorrow,
a great show.
7 p.m.
And they have a wonderful Facebook community. In case you guys, if you want to see Kris in his finest of arguing,
they snapping on me during the show.
On In the Zone on Facebook.
They're like, "How come you don't be talking that garbage on your page?" I'm like, "Cause y'all."
Yeah, because they have a bigger audience. That's why.
Slightly.
They have more people who are active all the time. I stay away from it because I have to work all day.
They got ratchetness.
They have a lot of it.
It's a lot of. It's some smart people in there though.
Well, I don't know. I have to work. So
it's like a good mix.
Yeah.
Anyway, peace and love.
Thank you.
Brother Reese, super producer Reese, thank you for running the ones and twos. Brother Khalid, Scott, anybody who joined us later. Love you all. See y'all next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. Kris and Gina, we out of here like last year. Give me some.
Since you just left a few hours ago, I've just been going crazy. And I done come to realize one thing.